Hey, Ted, what scares you about the Cardinals?
Uh,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I didn't expect you to be scared of anything.
I wasn't scared. Yeah, I really wasn't. That's what I was thinking and thinking. I was gonna say Buddha or Kyler. Like, can you name anybody else on the team? I don't know. They're pretty thin on talent these days.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess they got James Conner. They got Rondale Moore, Hollywood Brown. It's not exactly a murderer's row, let's say.
Yeah. What was your overall thoughts of the game? Give me your high point and your low point. Yeah, essentially. Just kind of fill me in there what you thought.
I mean, for me, the high points were the three deep dimes by Brock, one to Debo, one to Ayuk, one to Kittle, two of them for TDs. It was really nice. Low point was DK Metcalf being a biatch and going after Fred's face mask.
I I'm I'm not gonna look. They were trying to get DK. They were trying to get everybody worked up on that team. Okay, so I'm not mad at them really for acting that way. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of what they were trying to do, right? Okay. I I thought everybody should got a flag, and that's how it should go. You know what I mean? Everybody should get a flag, and let's move on. I I wasn't mad at Demo. Fred got away with some stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Fred got away with some stuff. So, eh.
Well, one thing we didn't get away with was the illegal block on Mitch Wishnowski's lovely fake punt.
Oh
Or I don't
yeah.
know if it wasn't really a fake punt, but it ended up being a fake punt where he ran for the first down. And I thought maybe somehow in my mind, I was thinking, oh, well, he got the first before the illegal block happened. So, but with this
No.
offsetting penalties, either way, it was coming back once they had the
So
illegal block. So.
I got a question. Are you okay with Mish Wisnowski making that call right then and there?
Well, I mean, I think it was like he flinched or something, and at some point,
No.
he just
No, he looked up, saw that they weren't pressing on that edge, and he took off with the ball. He said it in
oh
an interview. And look, I
oh
don't have a problem with it. I'm wondering if you're okay. I'm wondering if you're okay with him making that call.
I absolutely am okay. I would hope that he would do that. The question is Kyle okay with it? And I would guess Kyle is not cool with anything risky, since we never do fake punts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
never.
never.
But hey, maybe Wisnowski showed him that maybe you can dial it up one or two times, or we can have it built in to when all these boxes are checked. We're going live, baby. We're going live. You know what I mean? Like that's I think how it should be because look what happened this time. He saw everything was live, so he
There
went
you
with it.
go. Bryant Culp's happy when there's a special teams hero, even if it gets called back. In one of my chats, I guess it was yesterday,
Oh yeah.
he was saying that Mitch hit 22 miles an hour, and then he DM'd me and said it was 20, which still is fast for a punter. But I was like, no way in
It
hell,
was
Mitch
20.
Wisnowski ran 22
Dude,
miles an
that's
hour.
amazing.
Yeah,
Dude,
20 is amazing.
20
Yeah, it's
miles an
awesome.
hour is amazing for
It is. It's
anybody who's not a
ridiculously
wide
fast
receiver, a cornerback,
for any
or
human
yeah,
being to run.
yeah.
It's ridiculously fast. No doubt
We've
about it.
got we've got an athlete on our team. Um, so real quick, let's get a shout out to some people here.
Yeah.
Uh, Jimmy Perez. Sorry, Jimmy. I forgot to set it back to 4:00. We had discussed earlier he was going to go do some more stuff with the kid. I forgot to push it back because I was going through watching the game again. And by the time watching the game got done, it was like 3:34, and I had let you guys all think that we were going to be starting sometime soon. So I'm so sorry about that. And I want to thank you guys for being here first. We got Don't Bother Me in the house. What up, Steven? Nancy Cameron. Bryant in the house. We got James Durnall in the house. Anybody else?
Face cabbage lickers.
Like,
I know that's a term of endearment somehow, but it sure doesn't sound like it.
Does not. Are we worried about taking the foot off the pedal off the remaining games? That offense seemed tired to me after I rewatched it. Emotional win. I don't know if I saw tired. I watched it today. I don't know if I saw tired. To me, it seems like, well, what I saw is we went 3 and out on our second and our third drive. And that third drive was backed up in our own end zone pretty much. You know what I mean? We were on the 10 or the 5 or whatever. And we threw 3 consecutive pass plays down them when we should be running, right? Let's run, get the ball out. Let's get us some breathing space. And we did 3 back-to-back pass plays. And by the time it was third and 10. So we never got a single yard that whole time. I didn't like that. I thought that we need to start running more. But then after all that, it seemed like we picked up and we didn't look back. We did give up on the 5th possession. We got stalled at the 50-yard line. I did not go back and kind of figure out what happened in there for us to stall out, but probably ended on an incomplete pass or us being short the line to gain. You know what I mean? So we just need to call better passes, I guess, on 3rd and long that gets us past the first down there. I don't know. I only recorded one bad.
I'll just say I wasn't surprised. In my preview article, I said the Niners are due for a letdown. Just like I asked the question before the Browns game, and I made a statement before the Seahawks game. I said letdown, but not loss. In other words, we weren't going to play like we did against the Eagles, and we didn't. We were, and also we had some injuries. Obviously, Hargrave and Ward got injured, so that's more what I'm worried about moving forward is the defense. We were fine against Drew Lock, but against I don't know, even Kyler or especially Lamar or Matt Stafford, those are a little scarier. Or any team that you overlook. Any team you overlook can bite you in the rear end in this league. Good news is that the Giants are playing well. So all of a sudden, the Eagles playing Giants, Cards, Giants at the end of the year. It's not looking quite as cakey-walky as it was a few days ago. Tommy DeVito is playing well, folks.
Well, they also got to play him. What is it? Back-to-back weeks.
They play the Seahawks this week, and then they play Giants, Cards, Giants to close out the season. The Eagles. So that was my concern, was that we would take back first, but that we'd give it back by losing to the Ravens. And the Eagles are not the only team we have to worry about. Obviously, with the Cowboys could win out too. Mm-hmm. Cowboys have a pretty tough schedule, though. They have Dolphins, and I want to say the Lions, maybe.
Lions are a paper tiger at this point, wouldn't you say?
I mean, I was definitely surprised that they lost to the Bears, but I'll tell you what, something about the Bears. I had them as a playoff team before week 1, and I don't think they will be.
What?
Clearly, I mean, they're closer to the first overall pick. But they're getting the first overall pick from the Panthers because
did you say Bears playoffs?
I did before the season started.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!
But I also said Cowboys Niners NFC Championship game. So
Did you
I'd say that's
bookmark your
more
own
important
tweet?
than like I did. I definitely bumped it up. I absolutely did. And I didn't do the one with all the predictions because there was the Bears was in there like, I don't want to do this one. So I did the one from before the Cowboys game where I said before the season, I said Cowboys Niners because I only wanted to talk about that part of it. Of course, I didn't want to open myself up to scrutiny on the Bears part. It should have been Green Bay. I had a feeling when I did, I'm like, the Packers might be the team, but and maybe they will. We'll see. Maybe it'll be the Giants. Who knows? Who knows? But let me see what the Cowboys schedule looks like here. I was going to look that up because it's pretty tough. Cowboys have a tough schedule. The Ravens have a crazy tough schedule. But let's see here. So yeah, the Cowboys have Buffalo this week. Then the Dolphins, who may be the best team in the AFC, maybe. Then the Lions. Then the only cupcake is the Commanders, and that's not even really a cupcake. They're a decent team. So that's a really tough schedule for the Cowboys.
Oh gosh. Oh, can I bring up something real quick?
No.
David McNiner brings up a great point. What up, Ryan and Ted?
Oh.
Where does Patrick throw a fit like a spoiled 6-year-old Mahomes rank on Ted's list? Now, I also want to point out that in the first quarter, we got a defensive offsides, and that potentially stops Nick Bosa from becoming a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? There was an offsides. There was a defensive offsides, and the freaking refs had the balls to call that. They had the balls, the
2 weeks in a row
of those men to call that, putting Bosa's Hall of Fame career in jeopardy. Much less, Fred Warner.
He also had a sack. So the Ravens have Jacksonville, us, Dolphins, and then Steelers to close out. Although Steelers are starting to look more and more like I thought they were at the beginning of the year, which was maybe not a playoff team. That's because Kenny Pickett's out. With Kenny Pickett, they probably would have made the playoff. They might still anyway. But yeah, no, good. To answer David McNiner's question, where do I have Patrick Mahomes? I have Patrick Mahomes as number one. He is the best quarterback in the NFL. I don't care if he's having a little bit of an off season, especially when he only has Travis Kelce as his only elite weapon, just like Josh Allen only has Stephon Diggs. I factor that into the equation. People say, oh, well, it's because they got paid. Yeah, I get it. It's because they got paid. But, imagine if Brock was making that kind of money and only had one weapon. Do you think he'd be doing as well as they are? The answer is, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
I really don't think so. We don't know. And by then, he might be, by the time it happens to us, he might be, because he might keep improving. But, we saw him without Trent and Debo this season.
The only thing I want to say is if you got somebody who can run the routes as need be, it doesn't matter how talented they are. If they can run the routes and they can catch the ball adequately, Brock Purdy can use them. Am I wrong?
Sort of, but they don't get as open if you don't have CMC in the backfield stealing all the attention away from them. And, and they all kind of do that for each other too. You see Debo come across your face, you're going to go with them.
Whether we had CMC or not, they always had to respect our run game, which meant the linebackers were always closer up.
But they didn't respect the running back receiving game, the running back catching game.
I don't know. You still got to come up and get somebody. It's still sucking the linebackers up.
So I updated my rankings for Purdy today. I moved him up from 4 to 7 to 3 to 6 today. And somebody said, tell me exactly where you have him. That's such a wide range. And I'm like, I have him exactly at 3 to 6.
That's hilarious.
And I said, there's a lot of variables and not many constants. Like last year, we had some constants when we were comparing Jimmy and and Brock because, hey, they had all the same weapons. They had the same coach. They had the same offensive line. There was a lot of constants there. But when you're comparing across teams and across teams, even if they have similar weapons, they have different opponents, it's very difficult. Well, Miami Niners, Sith Lord against Apprentice. If we slap Ravens on Christmas, who can really stop us?
I think that is one of the truest statements there.
I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys are a lot different team than when we played them. Their O-line is humming. And I said it before we played them that they may have one of the best offensive lines in football. And now they're playing like it. They weren't then because they were all coming off injury right then. And
I don't think Dak's not the quarterback everybody's talking about. Just because he's got numbers doesn't mean he
have to be. They got Pollard.
CeeDee
Lamb is balling the F out. They got this tight end named Ferguson, who's really underrated. They got Gallup. And then, by the way, they've got, Brandon Cooks.
CeeDee Lamb has never done shit against us.
Friendly
Pollard
neighborhood
hasn't done shit against us.
4-3 journeyman who, is just there. If you forget about him, he'll Cooks will cook you. So, and their defense is obviously good with with Micah, with DeMarcus Lawrence, with Deron Bland is playing well. Stephon Gilmore on the other side. They have underrated safeties. They're a little thin at linebacker. That's why they tried to get Shaq Leonard, but they didn't get him. So
yeah,
that's probably good.
Which is an Achilles heel when you're playing us.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Kyle loves to attack linebackers. He loves to line up in 21 personnel, which is 2 backs, and get a linebacker on a running back. And then all of a sudden, the running back moves from the backfield out to the slot. And the linebacker's out there on an island all by himself going, what the hell am I doing here with no friendlies around me? I feel all alone and scared and ready to get picked on, and that's usually what happens.
Talented linebackers that know they can get to the ball quick enough are going to sit back before and make sure that it's a run play before they commit when they're going up against us, because they know without being disciplined like that, they're giving up way too much behind them. So other linebackers don't know what to do. The only way they're good is by getting up there early, because if they don't, the running back's going to run right past them. So bad linebackers make us look like amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. Yeah, we make good linebackers look bad. We make bad linebackers look ridiculous.
Shout out. We've had some people join the chat. I want to give them their dues. We got Mark Graves in the house. David McNiner showed up. I know that. I don't remember if I called him out or not. Rick Diaz was asking about something. Sorry, Dick or Rick. I can't remember what you were asking about. Something about a comment from a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna
Jason,
go ahead
Captain
and
Niner Massey.
I don't remember.
Formerly known as
what's up. I think I said what's
Niner
up.
Smash Massey.
Smash Massey. He likes tongue twister names. Just messing Jason. Jason's a homie there. What do you think about that first touchdown to DK? Ambry gave that touchdown up, but to me, I don't know how he could have played that better. He would have had to got his head around way too early and track that ball. To me, like that's the only play where that's necessary to do that. I think any other one, he's going to turn around way too early and take himself out of the play.
Yeah, it's just a really great catch. It was really all it was. Yeah. It's kind of a circus catch. I wish they had shown better. I'm sure he really was in, but we never really got to see if his feet were in the stadium at Levi's there. So, but yeah, it looked like an amazing catch, really more than poor coverage. You know, they say great offense beats great defense. I would say that's pretty much what happened there. I've been real happy with the way Ambry Thomas has been playing, as opposed to Isaiah Oliver. But you know what? Isaiah Oliver was decent on Sunday. I don't recall him getting burned much. So, because I kept I kept saying,
Even
like,
in the
watch where
game.
Isaiah Oliver is. That's where I would go if I was them. And it seemed like Drew Lock was never really able to capitalize on that.
So about halfway through the game, when I rewatched it, I started looking for that. Like, where's Oliver? And he wasn't in the game much in the second half. We were 3 linebackers. We had 3 linebackers. We were playing a base, and they were getting the job done. But also at the same time, they were trying to get after everybody, and everybody did a great job on our defense.
Yeah,
We were very
our
stingy.
defense, even without Charvarius Ward, Mooney Ward, even without obviously Armstead was out the whole game. Hargrave went out. The defense held up. Kinlaw showed up. Jason, yeah, I don't worry. I knew you were joking with that definitive thing. I mean, the way I think it'll work in my mind is like I'm at 3-6, and you go 2-5, then you go 1-4, then you go 1-3, 1-2, then you go 1-1 eventually. So like that's how in my mind it would happen, where I would narrow it down. Would be like, there just wouldn't be any numbers above it anymore. Slowly but surely whittling one off each time he plays really well. So that might happen by the Super Bowl. Maybe Super Bowl win, I'll say he's the best quarterback in the NFL. We'll see. Hopefully he keeps playing this well. That's all. Like, I really don't care what the ranking is. I just want him to keep playing well. The good news is he just really doesn't have many stinkers other than when he's got a concussion or Deebo and Trent Williams are out. So, and CMC's banged up. So,
speaking of Deebo, in the 4th possession, they gave up a big sack. This was, I think, his 2nd sack. The first one, it might have been the first sack too, though. It was the one where Brendel couldn't get the reach block on the defensive tackle after the guard pulled. Which,
yeah,
he's the center. He's the center. He's the one that calls all that stuff. He needs to figure that one out. But after that sack, like almost immediately we threw a touchdown to Deebo instead of having a punt, which I want to give everybody credit. Kyle called a great play. Purdy, Deebo executed it greatly. So did everybody else on the line. Purdy wasn't, obviously able to get the pass off. I just happy about that. And if you look at the score, what was it? It was 16-28. So if you take 7 points away from that, that's only a 5-point lead at that point. So if they stalled out right then and there, we didn't capitalize, it was a 1-score game at that point. So
it's in my banner on Twitter and X. It's in my banner, the touchdown to Deebo. I put Purdy winding up in my avatar, and then Deebo right before the catch, and with Diggs and Jamal Adams trailing behind him as he walked into the end zone. And it says 10-7 on my screen. The Seahawks were up 10-7 so that was a huge touchdown to take the lead not for the first time because we had the early lead, but to retake the lead from the Seahawks.
And I started watching how they were using Jamal Adams. And when he was in, he was pretty much used like a linebacker.
I think that's all he's good for.
I don't even know if he's good at that. Because
Joe Stevens says he can't even tackle. So, and Joe would know.
Yeah, Joe. Well, also you got to understand, Joe's really biased. So
he hates Jamal Adams.
Exactly, but I'm not saying he's
Kobe
wrong.
Bryant was better.
I'm not saying he's wrong. All I'm saying is he's biased. So you got to take that, make sure to do your own eye test first. But I can't point back and say, hey, there's this point where look at this right here. You're wrong. See, Joe, I can't do that. You know what I mean? I don't watch enough Seahawks tape, but at the same time, when I watch the Seahawks, he only stands out. He's kind of like that Thibodeau from the Giants. When we played Thibodeau, everybody's talking about Thibodeau. That guy came through on a couple plays in the first quarter and was just a ghost for the rest of the game. He didn't have enough to stand. Oh, we got Crazy Juice in the house.
There you go.
Yep.
I think he's picked it up a little bit, Thibodeau, later in the season here, but definitely against us, he was a no-show, like you said.
Yeah, well, he showed up for the first couple plays, and then he was out. Like, he was out of it. What up,
Well,
CarCast in the house?
I think also Purdy got used to the blitzing in that game because I remember the Giants game as a tale of 3/3. The first third of the game, Purdy struggled. The second third of the game, he was kind of okay. In the third of the game, he rocked it. And that was when I started moving him up. That was the first time I moved him up from the 14 to 18 ranking I had from the offseason to 11 to 15.
Yeah, that one, was it a touchdown pass to Debo? I remember they threw the ball to Debo. He was coming off. Jamal Adams was supposed to pick him up in coverage, and he was late to figuring out what was going on. And by the time Debo was next to him, he hadn't even really started backpedaling or get himself into position to run with him, and it was gone. And I was just like,
flat-footed.
Yeah, it was like my favorite part, one of my favorite parts of the game, because it was like, and this is one of those things where Joe's like, can be like, look, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing.
There you go.
Oh, Bryant is stating facts there because he's not biased.
Bryant loves the underdog, though. Come on, let's be honest.
What up, John LaJoy?
Bryant loves the good
Leo in the house.
What's up, Leo?
What up, Leo?
Hey, and John started his own channel, everybody. So make sure you subscribe.
Yeah. Make sure you check John LaJoy.
Yeah, check it out, folks.
Just do it.
That's right. Make it happen. Support our fellow creators. That's what it's all about.
Yes. Let's see. Anything else I want? Oh, so we had a play where we gave up a big play to Kenneth Walker. And it was kind of like a broken play. He kept it alive by moving his feet and us being out of position and tackling horribly. And that could have been a way to get them into 3rd and long and have them punt. There's certain times we are susceptible to giving up big plays when our defense, like, I don't know, like on the first attempt, they sell out too much. And then that person, whoever has the ball, some way is able to get out and away. Then we're in big trouble because everybody, like, they're not running together in groups. Essentially, they're hitting somebody in bad tackling one by one. So it's causing the person to be able to get down the field to another person who makes a bad tackle. And that's something that is concerning because in the playoffs, you're going to have the best athletes making plays like this. And this is going to be it's going to happen more often, I think. We're going to break down a play. There's somebody who's a big person on their team, a good athlete, is going to have to make a play. And this is what we're susceptible to. So I would like to see us get better at that. I know that. You're muted.
We prided ourselves on our tackling last season.
Mm-hmm.
And it slipped a little this season, but I mean, we're still the number 1 D again. So at least statistically, I always say that stats can be misleading, but I think we're easily a top 3 defense if we're not number 1.
Yeah. Also, I noticed the ball that was thrown to Brandon Ayuk, he when he fumbled, that was a dime between 2 defenders straight to Brandon Ayuk, able to catch it on the run and go. Like, I remember watching that play going, oh, that's a great one. Oh, he fumbled. Oh, this is the one. But that was a dot. And I was like, I got to write that down.
Yeah, it was a nice pass, a great run after catch. And then the fumble hurt, but at the same time, it was such a huge play. It was just almost like a punt. It's not like it hurt us that badly. So that's what I said to my buddies in the stands. Bummer.
Do you
but
follow the
not the end of the world.
Giants?
Do I follow them? Absolutely. I mean, loosely.
Yeah.
I followed that they missed Shohei Ohtani over the weekend.
Yeah, I don't follow baseball really. I started liking the Giants when I lived in California, but when I moved up here to Seattle, I started
Mariners.
kind of watching a lot of Mariners. And then
Absolutely.
I just kind of lost love for baseball, and then I lost love for basketball when the Seattle Supersonics left. So
That makes sense.
I'm sitting here trying to get more into hockey and still loving the shit out of football.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a big baseball fan in general, and I've been kind of just staying away from the Warrior. Usually, I start up with basketball after Christmas, like most casual basketball fans. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, also the Warriors. Let's face it, they're getting old. They might have 1 year left
Wait.
in them. I mean, I'm going to
So-
say probably not at this point. It's probably over, folks.
Weren't you getting in like almost like Twitter fisticuffs over basketball last year? And you're
Absolutely.
trying
You
to
mean with
tell me-
the Celtics fans and the Lakers fans?
well, kind of every fan group that the Warriors were meeting on that way, it seemed like
you know me.
well,
I don't stray away from violence on the timeline. Although I will say I actually have lately, since the 20th of October, when I had my anniversary with my wife, my 16th wedding anniversary. I stayed off that day. I just been on a lot less, and when I'm on, a lot of times I'm just blocking idiots bringing up Trey Lance, and I'm just like, all right, you're blocked. I'm just not going to deal with this shit anymore, because I like Trey Lance. I thought he had a higher ceiling. Turns out he still might, but Brock is way better than he was last year. You could say you saw it coming. I didn't think it was realistic that he could be this good, but he is. So there you go.
I don't know if he's way better, but he's
Dude, he is way better. He is dude. Look at his deep throws last year, and look at the deep throws this year. It's not even freaking comparable.
Okay,
it's
but that's an aspect of his game. That's an aspect of his game. That's an aspect of his game. But like he was doing a lot of other stuff that was totally manageable and consistent.
Still doing all that. He's still doing all that, and
right,
now
that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's like a 10x. I think it's like he, added another like 50% onto his game. You know what I mean?
But I think he had 14 to 18 in the offseason. Now I've got him 3 to 6. What would you say that is? That's a huge fucking leap to go from middle of the pack to top, almost top 5-ish.
Depends if you're grading him at 3 or at 6.
F you, Ryan. And F you too, Jason, Captain Niner Massey. And same thing to that guy on the timeline. You too.
I don't really care. I don't really care. I just thought it was there, so I got to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it's fine. I get it. People want an exact thing, but I just, my whole thing is it's really hard to compare quarterbacks across different teams with different weapons, different O-lines, different coaches playing against different opponents. It's hard. It's not a precise science. Until you get to like where you say the best. And I have Patrick Mahomes as my best. That's what McNiner wanted to know. Where do I have Mahomes? He's number 1. He's the best quarterback in football until proven otherwise. I still have Josh Allen number 2. I have Burrow 3, Aaron Rodgers 4, and then go from there. I don't know.
Wait. So Brock Purdy isn't 3 or 4. So he's 5 or 6. I'm sorry. I'll leave it alone.
No, because Burrow and Rodgers are out, right? So Rodgers may come back soon, maybe, but probably not because the Jets are out of it. But yeah, I mean, with Burrow being out, I went from 5 elite quarterbacks to 4, and even really it's more like 3 because I don't know that Herbert's really. I thought Herbert was elite, but he's starting to slip for me. I mean, I said, Chargers are always injured and and la la la. But eventually, like, you got to start winning, bro. I mean, QB wins aren't everything, but they're not nothing either. They do mean something, and he's not winning enough for me to call him elite. So I don't know. He's big. He's got he's fast. He's got a cannon of an arm. He's tall, 6'6", but I don't know. Maybe doesn't have it between the ears. Maybe not. I'm starting to have doubts about Herbert, I'll just say. And so then I got like Lamar on the fringe. I got, pains me to say Tua. I just can't say Tua's elite. But I think Lamar's on the fringe. I think Brock's on the fringe. I was going to say Hurts, but he's really kind of fallen out now. I think he's still top 10, but maybe closer to 10.
So real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to Lil Spongy real quick. Our Eagles fan we got.
Little Spongy. Sorry about those Cowboys. Not really.
Jung Ho Lee.
Sorry about first place in the NFC. Not really. See you at Levi's. Really.
Yeah, dude, he is looking great in the pocket. He is just like, sometimes when he gets sacked, I'm like, really? Like, he should have gotten out of there, because he's so good at eluding people and getting around without being like, he's not a Michael Vick, but he makes people miss.
He also has some nice runs this season. Like last season, I don't think he had anything over 8 or 10 yards. He has some actually long runs this season too, which I never thought he'd have. So, not never, but I mean, I didn't think he'd have as many as he's had this season. So Brock's doing a lot of things better this year. A lot of things.
One game he was our third highest rusher, and I think he had something like 20-something yards on 4 attempts or something like that. Real quick. So as I was watching the game again, I decided to start tallying missed opportunities to get an interception. Let's say how I'll put that. Whether it was dropped, you should have caught it. Like there was one that, was it Ambry? I think there was one Ambry batted down that could have been intercepted, right? There was Charvarius Ward right before the play where he got injured. He almost got an interception. He bobbled it twice. Like he almost caught it twice. Like, you know what I mean? Which, look, I'm not harping on people.
I think Lenore dropped one before he caught one too.
Yeah. There was
Lenore,
four, and
I
then,
think you're thinking of Lenore, where he tipped it and then almost got it before it hit the ground.
He got an interception, but then it got called back by Bosa being offsides. Yeah.
Oh.
So
is that what happened? All right.
Or something like that. So
Fred had the late interception, obviously.
We could have had a lot more turnovers.
I thought there'd be a lot more with Drew Lock. He honestly played better than I expected.
He played way better than I expected. I guess I should give him credit for that. He amazed me. Let's just put it that way.
Patrick, throw a fit like a spoiled 6-year-old, Mahomes. My bad, McNiner. My bad.
You got a problem with your enunciation.
Huh?
You got a problem with your enunciation. Second QB hair. Oh, second beat QB hair in the league, Justin. So he's got the second best QB hair in the league. Justin Herbert does. That's what I'm guessing.
Who has the best? Is he saying Trevor Lawrence?
Oh, I think you got to give it to Trevor Lawrence.
Sunshine.
And when I think of like great locks, you know, why is Patrick Mahomes doing the head and shoulders, right? Like he doesn't have the beautiful hair. Not to say that he doesn't have nice hair. I mean, but like Troy Polamalu's hair was very pretty. You know what I mean? For a dude, he had some great, and Trevor Lawrence, he's got some pretty hair. You know what I mean? So just saying, like, I didn't understand that move. I understand he's Mahomes. That's probably why he got the job, but come on, let's keep it 100. We got guys who got great hair you can give that contract to.
He probably did it to make some money.
That's why anybody
Yeah.
does it.
What's
Right?
450 mil? It's not nearly enough. Gotta
Oh,
sell some shampoo too.
another thing. On 1st and 19 on their goal line, pretty much. I think that's where Drew Lock's foot was when he threw this ball. But it was 1st and 19, and we give up a big pass to Lockett, which
Oh, it's huge.
we could have just shut them down at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then one great thing I want to point out, Kittle got a big first down to essentially steal the game right there at the end. We were, what did I tally? We were, what was it, 12 points off? We had a 12-point lead, right?
Yeah, 28-16.
Yeah, had a 12-point lead at that point. So that's a big first down to know that they can't get the ball back because of that. It's big. They've got some receivers that can get down the field. And taking them out of it was just big for us. Anything else about the game you wanted to bring up?
Just that we're 5-0 in the post-Russ era. I've been calling them the sweep. I've been calling them the sweep talks instead of the Seahawks, and that will remain. Also, can they stay my most hated team with this kind of record? I can't hate on them like I used to hate on them. They're talk about paper tigers. The Lions, like the Seahawks, are even more. They're like rice paper tigers. At least the Lions are like butcher paper. There's some strength to them.
How come every team at the top looks like they're not necessarily the good team, except for like
the Cowboys look good.
Okay, let's say the 49ers and the Cowboys. Those are the only people who essentially, when you watch their games, you can go, yeah, their record, they deserve their record, right?
Yeah.
Like the last two games from the Eagles, I'm like, I don't
maybe
think
the
so.
Dolphins
the last game.
Maybe the Dolphins too, because they. Well, when did you watch the games? Because if you watched before Xavier Howard got back from injury, and then obviously Jalen Ramsey missed like the first 7 or 8, 9 games of the season, or not 9. He probably missed the first 6 or 7 games of the season. Came back. He's been back for a few games, but their defense looks a lot different with Xavier Howard, who, by the way, has the most interceptions over the last, I don't know how X many years, 3 or 4 years. And, Jalen Ramsey is no slouch as a defensive back. I mean, we like to ride him because he was a Ram, but
did you watch the game?
He's a damn good player. What? Did I watch what?
Did you watch the game last night?
The Dolphins played last night? I didn't even realize. I was watching the Green Bay Giants game when we were out to dinner. I didn't really watch much of either of them, to be honest.
Well, let's just say I started on the Miami game thinking it was going to be the best game, and it wasn't. And by like the third or fourth quarter, it was still tied. And I was like, I'm not watching this thing if it goes into overtime. So I decided to switch my channel up, and we were going to watch the Green Bay game. And then the Giants ended up winning. I went back over, and they weren't tied at that point, but they're still just losing that game despite being able to be the most talented. They didn't have Tyreek Hill for a little bit, which supposedly I guess that just ruins their whole team, which it shouldn't.
It should.
They are not a contender.
He's like their CMC.
Yeah.
And they don't have as many weapons as us. It's basically
they got guys.
Hill,
they got
Waddle,
guys. You got to scheme.
Mostert.
When they had Tyreek Hill, they weren't able to beat any team that's got a winning record. I
can't believe they lost to the Titans. That's crazy. They were favored by
they shit the bed on every
crazy.
game with a good team, and then they did good against crap teams. They are a paper tiger themselves. They are until they start handling business, which I don't
the best team in the NFC? I guess just the Ravens. Then it's the Ravens because of their defense.
And
they have no Mark Andrews. That's going to hurt them too.
Dude, they give me the Eagles vibes, and what I mean by that is they've got the record, they've got the personnel, but when they come up against a good team, that's got a good game plan, I don't think they can hang. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
they're good, but they're not consistent enough this season to let that talent actually show through. You can't be talented on every play. That's just not something that happens. You know, as far as you're going to have off plays, the defense is going to call the right defense to counter your offensive play. There's going to be all that type of stuff, and it's when you can string good plays together. Their good plays are coming too far between each other to make them be good. We have good plays coming consistently up throughout drives, which makes us be able to sustain them. That's what I think the issue is. Like the Eagles issue, man, if they come up with a good team, they can't string enough good plays together in a drive to consistently put points up.
A good defense, yeah, like the Cowboys or the Niners. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Picking up what you're putting down.
Let's see where we at.
So Ravens are the class of the AFC. Then who else do they? I mean, are the Chiefs? They lost 3 out of 4. The Dolphins?
I don't know.
They lost to the Titans.
It's probably like a 3-way tie. It could be even
Bills?
be like a 5-way tie.
The Jags?
When
Jags
we're
just lost to
putting
the Browns. The Browns,
So-
they got so many injuries.
So as we're drafting this up, you have to also go into consideration, well, no, I can't say that they're the one because this other player can play really good, even though he hasn't been playing really well right now. And this and that whole AFC, that's all you're looking at. Well, like
Browning's Bengals?
could play better.
Yeah,
Yeah, look
that's
at Browning's
been a surprise.
Bengals.
Browning's Bengals. They might be the second best team in the AFC. How crazy is that?
They might be,
They might be.
especially if they can string together some wins. You know what I mean?
They've sprung
Get in
together
a nice
2 in a
little
row.
zone.
And against some good teams, too. It wasn't like schleps, I don't recall.
Yeah.
Huh. Browning's Bengals. I mean, I
So-
always said when they were fading the Bengals early in the season, I was like, just wait till Burrow gets healthy. Yeah, they're 7-6. They won their last 2. They beat the Jags, and they beat the Colts, both playoff teams.
So I got a question here about the Cardinals for you. We got 12 minutes before you got daddy duties. So I want to kind of get into the Cardinals real quick before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Tell me the matchups to look out for. But my question is do you think we run that same kind of defensive line scheme that we did against the Eagles, against Kyler Murray, and then probably also Lamar Jackson next week?
Yeah, I mean, we really should. Will we? I don't know. But yeah, we absolutely should mush rush. Bosa should bull rush, and only as deep as the quarterback. No spin moves, no stunts, no nothing to give up outside contain against Kyler or Lamar, who are both, I think, more dynamic than Jalen Hurts. Let's be honest. Jalen Hurts is a strong runner, but Lamar and Kyler are both quicker, I feel like. So as far as matchups go, Marquise Brown is listed in red. So I don't know if he's questionable or not, but that would be a big loss for them. He's arguably their best receiver. Rondale Moore is sort of like Debo Light. He's a little bit smaller, a little bit faster. They've got a good line, or at least an underrated line. The Cards do.
Is Connor good?
James Conner is a good running back. Yeah, he's powerful. He's not real fast, but
No, I was just
powerful.
wondering if he was active. That's the only thing
Oh
I'm
yeah,
really
I mean,
worried
he's
about.
listed in blue, listed number 1. They also have Michael Carter, who used to be a Jet. He's a pretty good running back, so that might be a little bit of a concern as a 1-2 punch, especially
Connor
since, like I
Connor
said,
also-
Connor's not real fast.
Connor was also really pissed last time and he got a little mouthy, so he might want to really prove something, which he can at times. Connor is not a slouch as far as a running back. Like Ted's saying he's not fast, but he still gets his yards, and he's not a punk. He will run through tackles. So,
Oh yeah, he's big. He's big
mhm.
and strong, no doubt about it. And then they have Trey McBride, who is from Colorado State at tight end. I think he's pretty decent, but I'll be honest. I'm a little bit unprepared on my card stuff. As far as their defense, like that's where they're really lacking. I mean, like I always just say, who name me a Cardinals defender? It's like, okay, Budda Baker. Okay, great. He didn't play against us last time. They've got Jalen Thompson at the other safety spot. He's serviceable, but he's no star. Then at cornerbacks, they have like Garrett Williams, who I don't even know who that is. Thomas V. Starling, and all that, he's listed in red. Marco Wilson is decent. But like, I don't know. Dennis Gardak is a edge right outside linebacker. He's okay. Gardak. Zaven Collins left outside. He started out as a middle linebacker, but I guess now he's an edge too. He's a good player in general. I mean, he's solid. But the rest, like Josh Woods, right inside linebacker, never heard of him. Left inside linebacker, Chris Barnes, never heard of him. Right defensive end, Kevin Strong. I like the name, but especially for a lineman, but never heard of him. Nose tackle, Roy Lopez, never heard of him. And left defensive end, Jonathan Ledbetter. Sounds kind of familiar, but not necessarily in a really good way.
It's a Pearl Jam song. All the thousand ways I know.
Couldn't hear you through all the smoke. So we used to say when we'd walk in and someone had been burning, like, oh, it smells like a Pearl Jam concert in here. But anyway, I mean,
the boxer or the bag. Oh yeah.
I mean, I think our biggest concern with the Cards is complacency, and this is a true trap game. People said the Seahawks were a trap game when I said let down, but we're certainly not overlooking the Seahawks looking at the Cards, but we certainly could be overlooking the Cards looking at the Ravens next week on Christmas Day at Levi's. So we're favored by 13.5. That's a lot. But I mean, I think we'll win by somewhere in that 10 to 13 point range. I mean,
and this Cards team have beat good teams or kept it close with
Cowboys
with a backup quarterback.
But when they beat the Cowboys were missing 4 out of their 5 starting O linemen.
We went over that then.
I know, but it's a lot. It's a lot, and especially
you just had question marks when you were talking about their defensive line, right? You had no idea who they were.
Had just gone down that week, so not even that week. It was that Thursday, so they had no time to react to that. So, I mean,
it's the Cardinal.
It's the Cardinal. I know. But Josh Dobbs is a pretty good quarterback. Clearly, the Vikings like him. Cards. I think the Cards would have kept him if Kyler wasn't back, but Kyler was back. They wanted to do him a solid. They let him.
Why do you think Kyler got back so quick?
Yeah, because Josh Dobbs was playing pretty well.
Josh Dobbs, he's been a real cheap bridge quarterback. A real cheap bridge quarterback, baby. Anything else? Oh, did you have to do your little ad? TTG.
Oh, if you have a minute, sure. Yeah,
let's go.
That little logo up in the corner, TTG, it stands for the Travelstead Group. They're a retail and hospitality logistics company. They do transportation and warehousing for brick and mortar. They do FFE, which is fixed furniture and equipment. They do OSE, which is operating supplies and equipment, new store openings, rollouts, relocations, decommissions from the first mile to the final mile and everywhere in between. Travelstead has you covered. Let them know how they can help you by air, ocean, or land. Closed loop solutions for retail and hospitality. Nick and Henry are the go-to guys there. They have 100% US-based support. It's important because these are complex operations. Almost always some kind of fine-tuning to be done, but if not, sometimes there's snafus. Good to know when you pick up the phone, you're not going to have some call center overseas where they got no clue what you do. Click the link in the description. Watch the video. It's also in my YouTube about page, my Twitter bio, Insta, Facebook, wherever you follow me. Click the link, watch the video, tell them Ted sent you. Thank you for letting me pay the bills, Ryan and audience. Much appreciated. Also, Big Mac Sports in the house. Make sure we call him out.
Make sure to go check out TTG.
Who's down with DTG? Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, you know me.
Every last home bee.
Real quick, we got 4 minutes. Let them know what you got going on today or the rest of the week, where they can find you. And we'll get on out.
I got nothing. No, I can. Let's see
You always
here.
got something.
Tomorrow, always got First and Ted with Aaron. Tomorrow at 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. Thursdays at 2, I've got Faithful Dogs with Big Mike from the Man Cave. He's a Browns fan, so that's why we're Faithful and Dogs. And then Friday at 3, Bash and I do Balling with Bash and Ted. So should be good stuff. So thank you for letting me get that out. What do you got going on, Ryan?
You guys can check me out tonight on Bashar's channel for Bring the Heat. Me, Mariah, and Bashar will all be there giving you our takes. You might hear some of the stuff I said here. Just saying. But you'll see you'll hear 2 other people's opinions also, and how they might clash, or other points that I didn't bring up. So make sure to check that out. Tomorrow night, I've got the rivalry with Joe Stevens on Seahawk Talk with Joe Stevens. That's the name of the channel. So check us out 6 o'clock.
You got to change the name of the channel now, though.
Why?
There's no rivalry at the Seahawks anymore.
No, they still got 10 wins on us.
I know, but with Russ,
we have to sweep them consecutively. We got to sweep them consecutively for 5 years to make the total win-loss even between our 2 teams. Just so everybody knows.
All right. I had to dig it in there, but they seriously. I don't know. I don't think they could be my most hated team. I think the Cowboys have to move in. The Cowboys were too, and Eagles were moving their way up, but Eagles are dropping off now too. So all the birds are.
But hey,
the birds are crashing.
But with that, we're gonna get out of here. I want to thank everybody who's in either chat right now. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, giving the support, all that good stuff. Wouldn't do this without you guys. We love you, and go Niners.